Have to throw in a little research there. Double rate of learning. Now, I was working with a school district up north, and this elementary teacher came up to me afterward. I was talking about this formative assessment stuff. And she said, "Boy, I've tried it. I'm just dying." I said, "Well, tell me what you're doing." And she said, "Can you come into my room?" I said, "Sure." Fourth grade teacher. She had gone to a workshop, learned a lot about formative assessments, implementing in her classroom, okay? She was not departmentalized. So for some of you, what that means is that she taught it all. Math, science, English, social studies, health, everything elementary teachers do if they're not departmentalized, okay? She said, "Will you look at my Skyward gradebook?" Sure. I looked at her Skyward gradebook. This is in January, in-service day up there. And normal Skyward gradebook, 25 kids on the left-hand side. Then all of the assessments, all the markings, analogous to the grade book, all the scores. And I said, "Well, you got a lot here." And she did. 25 kids. She must have had 20, 25, 30 different assessments that were in the book. So far, I don't understand the problem. She said, "I can't keep up. I can't keep up. I'm giving all of these assessments. And I am here till 9, 10 o'clock at night. I am following what everybody said formatives are supposed to be used for. That I am assessing them. And I am then changing my teaching the following day based upon those assessments." What was she doing wrong? That's right. You know what she was doing? She was taking the responsibility with a formative assessment to grade every single piece of paper that she was distributing. And her assessments all were paper and pencil. All right, guys, pass them around. Okay, you got 5 minutes. Take this formative assessment. All those little kids, let's see, 4 subject. Each day, 25 kids, it's 100 assessments that she has to assess by the next day. Woo! Holy smokes. All right, let me disavow you of one thing. One of the things that sometimes people think about formative assessments, when I said before the idea of 4 or 5 per unit, yeah, that's good. That doesn't mean that you have to grade every single last one of those. In fact, if you do, that's a bad instructional practice. That's a bad instructional practice. Okay? The reason that's a bad instructional practice is that the kids have learned that you are the person that's responsible for their learning. Rather than, I could go all kinds of assessments. I could do what I would call informal formative assessments by just simply shows of hands. Talk to your study buddy. That students have to do something that you don't necessarily have to go back home and grade or assess, okay? You don't have to do that. Now, certainly some you will. Most teachers, a lot of teachers, use formative assessments as an in-class activity where we do it together, okay? The important thing is yes, as a classroom teacher, yeah, I'm on my feet. I'm checking. How do you do on that one? Ah, good job. Okay? Stuff that you do routinely, naturally, by being on your feet with those formative assessments. Or you've told the kids, when you're done with this assessment, make certain you go back to the rubric and double check your results. Okay? Now, as a classroom teacher, I can have multiple things going on at one time. I don't have to have 25 little kids, 25 big kids, all doing precisely the same thing at the precise same moment. Okay? What you're doing then, you're still gathering data, you're still assessing. Okay? You're still assessing. And then you're making the decision as to whether or not you as a classroom teacher, based upon the information you're getting, written, oral, small group work, you're looking around whether or not I have to reteach. Okay? So, one thing I hope you get from this is you don't have to make it a paper and pencil. It doesn't have to be something you do tonight. Talked about that. Okay? Some of the same stuff we just talked about. Very neat technique, really neat technique that was presented at one of the workshops I went to was this second idea. It may not work for you, may not. As we mature as a school district with formative and summative assessments, you know what? I was visiting a classroom. I heard a kid say, "Mrs. Johnson, is this a formative or a summative?" Holy smokes. Holy smokes. There's going to come a time in this district when third and second grade teachers are going to understand what formative and summative assessments mean. They'll use it in their language. It's becoming institutionalized. They get it. Okay? They will get it much quicker if you as new teachers start using that terminology. Okay? We're going to do it for learning. Okay? So, one of the things that one school district has done, students earn the right to take the summative. Teacher says, all right, we got 5 formative assessments. You guys know that our overall assessment for most assessments is you got to hit it at least 75, 70, 80% level. Okay? You got to do those formative assessments. And once you do, then you earn the right to take the summative. All right? It's a very, very nice technique. Again, the idea is more responsibility on the student, less on you. Okay? They're going to demonstrate the right to take that summative exam, that summative assessment, whatever it might be. This is what they did. That's pretty simple. If I was a U.S. history teacher or AP right now, boy, I'd be doing this in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. It's another technique. Again, this is not universal. So it might work for you, may not. Your circumstance may be completely different. Bruce, it just won't work with me. Okay, fine, you're the expert. I get it. You're in that classroom every single day. Homework and formative. Student maintains an 80% average on their summatives. Kids don't have to do homework. Don't have to do it. All right? Now, this one sometimes causes a little consternation on the part of people. Okay? Because how else are we going to teach them responsibility if they don't do that homework? How are we going to do that, Bruce? Homework is not used to teach responsibility. It's not. It's not supposed to be. Okay? Homework is supposed to be used for students to be able to ultimately be able to hit the learning target. And if the assessment, the homework, doesn't hit that standard, then you shouldn't be giving it to them. And frankly, how kids learn responsibility is by them learning to hit the standard, to hit the target, for you holding them accountable. That, guys, what would he say? It was supposed to be 75% on the summative. Got to redo it. That's how students learn responsibility. Okay? It's not about doing something that perhaps mom and dad are helping them with at home. Okay? We have teachers around the district that are using this and are doing it very successfully, and the kids love it. Kids love it. That last point about fairness, get rid of that in your head too. It's not about fairness. Okay? Because these 5 have to do the homework and he doesn't, so what? That's not what this is about. Okay? It's about the fact that Aaron can get to the standard without doing the homework. Good job. There are lots of things that you have done in your own lives that other people can't do as well, that you don't have to practice. Why should you force everybody to do exactly the same thing? I don't get it. Yeah. Now that's completely different from how you were taught growing up. Well, I got to do the homework. Have to. Well, maybe you don't. Okay? It's all about hitting the learning target. And if you haven't hit this right now, if you haven't understood this, I'm sure it's going to be continually be drilled into you, is ultimately the learning target is absolutely the most important thing. It is the crucial thing. Okay? Sometimes students being able to hit the learning target without homework, i.e. practice, that has illuminated some issues for our district. When our grade level teams get together and they talk about, or subject area teams get together and they talk about the learning targets for every particular area that we're teaching. I don't care if it's chemistry regular or reading in first grade. They got the learning targets. They go around, they talk about it, and they go, boy, and this has happened. Is anybody having problems with this particular learning target? No, not at all. Kids got it down cold. Well, that's great. Maybe we don't have to spend quite as much time on that particular learning target as perhaps we once did. And we have adjusted those learning targets. Okay? Just on field experience. Okay, moving on. Okay, I mean, again, I'm not going to belabor this point too much more about the idea, but if the kids can do the work, if there's a means for you to manage your formative assessments without a lot of paper and pencil, then I think that's certainly a means that you should try to explore. Okay? And if there's some things that you can do where students can demonstrate proficiency with the learning targets without generating a lot of paper, that's great. Okay, we've talked about this. Oh, by the way, back to that one. Don't gloss over this one. You know, tomorrow when you talk to the kids in class and you're introducing a new unit or something, be explicit about what it means to get, to be successful, to be A, to be B. Okay? Be explicit about that. You know, when you're in college and now grad school, it's the rare individual that didn't pay attention to the syllabus and get to the last page to find out what it took to get an A. You didn't do that? Yeah, you did. I did too. Grade hungry. I got to have an A. I have to have an A. Okay? How do I get an A? Well, you have to do this, 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 and this. That's routine. That's routine. You expect it. You'd be pissed off if you didn't get that from a professor. Well, I really don't know what gets you an A, you know. I'll let you know at the end of the quarter, though. That's not working. Okay? So for you with your kids, I know sometimes this is an easy one. You know, you get so caught up in moving on. Show them that model, that yardstick. Somebody else? Pre-assessed? Nothing unusual there, guys. Other than, it saves time. Remember about my third year teaching. Killed the kids. Did a great job. Went home, told my wife, wonderful. And found out later the kids already knew it. Teacher before him had done a great job with it. If I would have pre-assessed, I would have saved a little time. Last part, common misconceptions in your subject area, identify flawed thinking, confront it. I don't know about you, but there are certain things that when I was teaching, I was talking about metaphor and simile. Boy, metaphor, see, that's right, simile. Every single year, I knew the kids were going to struggle with that. Every single year when I was teaching some of my history stuff, latitude and longitude. Every single year, our second grade teachers have problems with two-digit addition with one regrouping. They have problems with it. Year after year, we have problems with it. Okay? Pre-assess, focus on that. You know what they're going to have problems with. That's why that last one is important.